What if I told you that one of David Gilmour's greatest guitar solos was completely erased and lost forever? Not stolen, not damaged, completely wiped from existence in a single moment of studio negligence. This is the untold story of Pink Floyd's Animals recording sessions and the guitar solo that vanished into thin air.
At some point during the making of it, the Animals idea arrived to Roger and he tied it in to the project,
forcing Gilmour to recreate magic that could never truly be recaptured. Picture this. It's 1976. Pink Floyd is recording at their brand new Britannia Row Studios in North London.
The big thing was the development of Britannia Row, our own recording studio. This was a fairly major departure for us.
After years of unlimited studio time at EMI, the band had built their own 24-track facility in converted church halls. They're working on what would become one of their most politically charged albums, Animals.
We had built our own studio in Islington and went into them and started trying to record in a brand new place which had all its teething problems.
David Gilmour has just laid down what he considered to be an exceptional guitar solo for the epic 17-minute track, Dogs, a song that had evolved from their earlier live composition, You Gotta Be Crazy.
We had some of the music. Dogs actually was already largely recorded and was called You Gotta Be Crazy.
The band is 8 months into recording sessions that would stretch from April 1976 into early 1977. Engineer Brian Humphreys is at the controls. Everything seems to be going perfectly. But then disaster struck in the most mundane way possible. As Gilmour himself revealed in a 2016 Guitar Player interview, the second solo on Dogs was completely erased. Gone forever, done. There was some white leader tape left in erase mode, and it wiped out about 2 minutes of recording. Think about that for a moment. 2 minutes of David Gilmour's guitar work, potentially some of his finest, deleted by a simple technical oversight. In the analog recording era of the 1970s, there were no backup files, no cloud storage, no undo button. When something was erased from magnetic tape, it was gone forever. The irony is almost painful. Here was Pink Floyd, at the height of their creative powers, recording in their own state-of-the-art studio that they'd built specifically to avoid the limitations and costs of commercial facilities. And they lost irreplaceable music due to something as basic as leader tape being left in the wrong mode. Gilmour later described the moment of discovery. We realized what had happened when we went to do the mix. The solo was just gone. Complete silence where there should have been guitar. The band's engineer confirmed that there was no way to recover the erased material. The magnetic information had been completely wiped. To understand the full impact of this loss, you need to know the journey of Dogs itself. The song began life as You Gotta Be Crazy, which Pink Floyd had been performing live since 1974. Those early live versions were more repetitive and less focused than what would eventually appear on Animals. By 1976, Roger Waters had transformed the piece into something much more sinister and pointed. The lyrics now told the story of ruthless business people inspired by George Orwell's Animal Farm allegory that Waters had woven throughout the Animals concept.
All the ideas that there are in dogs and sheep and pigs are still with us. But it wasn't called sheep then. It was called raving and drooling, but it did have the idea of being led to slaughter.
The song became a cautionary tale about manipulation and societal control, with the dog representing those who climb the corporate ladder by destroying others. Within this 17-minute epic journey, Gilmour's guitar solos served as emotional peaks, moments where his instrument became the voice of human struggle against corporate machinery. The lost solo was the second of these peaks, coming at a crucial point in the song's narrative arc. The Animals recording sessions were taking place during a period of increasing creative tension within Pink Floyd. Roger Waters was asserting more control over the band's artistic direction than ever before. Richard Wright contributed no writing credits for the first time in the band's history and was growing increasingly alienated. David Gilmour, distracted by becoming a father, was contributing less than usual and felt deliberately held back by Waters. The technical setup at Britannia Row was impressive, but still developing. The studio featured a custom 24-track setup, but it was initially under-equipped compared to larger commercial facilities. The band was still learning to operate their own equipment, which may have contributed to the erasure incident. This wasn't the first time Pink Floyd had faced technical challenges during recording. During the Dark Side of the Moon sessions, they had dealt with tape machine malfunctions and synchronization issues. But losing a completed, approved guitar solo was particularly devastating because it represented not just technical work, but artistic inspiration that couldn't be easily replicated. The division of royalties based on song count rather than length was also creating friction.
The thing I liked the most about the nuclear family was that it was a man and a woman on a sofa, and then there were 2.5 children, and the half-child was like cut through like that.
Gilmour was responsible for the complex, lengthy Dogs, yet received fewer royalties than Waters, who wrote the much shorter Pigs on the Wing parts. Fortunately, Gilmour had taken a rough mix of the song home with him. As he explained, "I had to redo it from a rough mix I had taken home." But imagine being in his position, trying to recapture lightning in a bottle, knowing that your original inspiration was lost forever. This wasn't just any guitarist facing this challenge. This was David Gilmour, whose solos on Comfortably Numb, Time, and Shine on You Crazy Diamond are considered among the greatest in rock history. His ability to craft melodic, emotionally resonant guitar parts that serve the song, rather than just showcasing technique, had already been proven on Dark Side of the Moon and Wish You Were Here. The recreation session took place several weeks after the original erasure. By this time, the band had moved on to other parts of the album, so returning to Dogs required getting back into that specific musical and emotional headspace. The rest of the band, Waters, Wright, and Mason, were supportive of the process, understanding that the song needed that guitar voice to complete its journey. Gilmour's approach revealed his professionalism and musical instincts. Rather than trying to exactly replicate what was lost, he used the rough mix as a guide for the song's emotional arc. "I knew where the solo needed to go emotionally," he explained in later interviews. "I had to trust my instincts to find that place again."